Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and I'm a full-time reseller. So what is this video about? I've asked myself that question many times this week. The short answer is it's showing my reselling activity over the course of 1 week. Basically a 1 week look at what I was sourcing and where. But it's a little more complicated than that. The long answer is last February I had my big Crunch Cup retail arbitrage adventure where I was sourcing an out-of-stock product and selling it during that shortage to make big money. It's one of my favorite videos I've ever done. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Sourcing shortages can be a lot of fun but also risky because you stand to make a lot of money fast if you find the product, but you never quite know when the shortage is going to end and you could be left with a bunch of product that's no longer profitable. But I got the itch to do another February product shortage run to commemorate my Crunch Cup video last year, but it all kind of fell apart due to my own poor planning. We have to start with a little background so that this whole mess makes sense, so bear with me. This all technically started last August when Giant Eagle, which is the chain that I was sourcing in my last video, put Geritol on clearance, both the capsules and the liquid. Why? I have no idea because they didn't go on clearance anywhere else. They sold really well on Amazon for a while. They appeared to be on some sort of shortage, and then they came back in stock and I stopped sourcing them. I was mostly dealing in the Geritol capsules because that's what I was finding, but I did find one lone bottle of the Geritol liquid vitamins on clearance. When I scanned it on Amazon, only a 2-pack listing came up, so I figured I would just hold on to that single box and see if I'd come across another one in my travels for the capsules. Now, if I would have just looked without the UPC, I would have found a single box listing. I never did find a second box, so that single box just kind of languished in one of my bins for a while, forgotten about. Until early February when I looked through that bin for something else and I looked at the Geritol and checked the date and I saw that it was expiring in March, which meant I had to get rid of it now or I wasn't going to be able to sell it for anything. I checked on eBay and was pleasantly surprised to see that these were actually worth quite a bit now. I listed that box on eBay for $35.99 and it sold the next day on Bonanza. I checked Keepa to try and get an idea of what was going on with this product and I saw that it had been basically scarce and higher priced since like early December. So we're saying I'm like 2 months behind on whatever is going on with this product. But either way, I'm finally tuned into it. I know that it's profitable at regular price, so I should turn my attention to finding more. The week previous to that, I had been sourcing Rite Aids for a product called Ollie Laser Focus, which was on a shortage due to TikTok. That product is now winding down and is basically not worth chasing anymore. But while I was at the Rite Aids getting that, I remembered seeing the Geritol liquid there. I should have been grabbing them this whole time in retrospect, but this video is going to be all about all the things I should have done in retrospect. Cut to Monday of last week when this whole journey starts. I'm going to a town about an hour away that has a grocery store and a Rite Aid. I just wanted to check that grocery store to see if it had anything good, and all I found were 2 of my Theraflu apple cinnamons. They sold pretty quickly for $25. I went to the Rite Aid, and not only did they have the Geritol liquid, but it was now buy one, get one free, meaning I could get 2 bottles for about $14, and at the time, a 2-pack was selling for $67. I bought them, I listed them, they sold super fast on the way home, so I'm like, this is due for a sweep. Like, yes, I was 2 months behind on this, but I was going to make up for lost time with the buy one, get one free deal. And like I said, because I wanted to do another February fun sweep video, I was like, okay, I'm going to film it. I'm going to make a video of what I did this whole week, and we're going to see what I made on the Geritols. It did not go how I planned it to. In retrospect, I would have changed so many things and would have structured it better, but I still think it's an interesting glimpse into what a week looks like for me. You know how I like to keep it pretty realistic, and this week is about as real as it gets. So maybe in a roundabout way, I ended up picking a good week to showcase. Even making some errors and not planning things properly, did I still come out ahead? Absolutely. Enough background, let's jump into it. Let's roll back to Monday night where I start filming and you can come with me on this messy, chaotic reselling journey. Roll the intro. Monday evening, I went back out to my closest Rite Aid and bought 2 of their 3 boxes. You can't buy a third one at half off, you have to buy 2 for the sale, and one expires in March anyway, so I left that one behind. Can't come to Rite Aid without checking the clearance. All I picked up were a couple of Kristen S products I can maybe double my money on. Nothing huge, but I do have a hazmat shipment to send soon and I can just throw these in. Got to be twisted, another product without huge profits, but discontinued got to be products tend to go up, so if it's on the way out, I don't mind grabbing it for a buy and hold at this price. Here's an example of something that might trick you. It's cheap, and you scan it and see people are on the listing for around $20, and you think, wow, that's not bad. Until you realize the listing has no rank or reviews, meaning there might not be a demand. I want to prioritize things with a demand so they'll sell faster. Anyway, this is all I got from this location, and I think that's it for today, and I will go back out tomorrow. When I got home, I went to check the website for other locations showing stock, and I saw something that changed the entire game. First off, buying online is cheaper. They're $11.50 versus $13.50. And if you spend $30 in one order, you could get 25% off. Meaning if I could find locations with 4 boxes, I'd be getting the absolute best deal. I checked my next closest location and found that it had 4 boxes. Cool, so I placed an order Tuesday morning. One single order. And that was it. Why? I got spooked. There was another multi-pack listing that was holding stock close to retail prices for the first time since December. That was not a good sign. Fearful the end of the shortage was near, and not wanting to get stuck with loads of unprofitable inventory, I decided to be cautious and not mass order. Playing it by ear was not what I had planned. This was supposed to be a fast and flawless chase video. I only really source for a few hours each afternoon when I'm without both kids, and sometimes a quick pickup after dinner. So I really have to use my time wisely. What I did instead was remember I had boxes to pick up from Granger Supply on Wednesday afternoon. I usually go to the same Thrift every Wednesday afternoon because I'm a creature of habit. So I bumped that trip up to Tuesday afternoon and figured I could get my 4 boxes on the way home. Tuesday afternoon rolled around and I went to the Thrift. They had a lot of Schleich animals in various $2 or $3 bags, which is too much to pay per piece, but I did grab this bag because it had 2 Octonauts on it. I sold a 2-pack of Octonauts toys recently for $20, so for $3 it's going in the cart. They had some overpriced Lego sets, Furbies, and a vampire belt buckle. But this stock cart behind the counter had some dolls I asked to see, and inside was this King Triton and Beast doll with removable head. I grabbed that for $8. I also got this Lego train out of the same cart for the decent price of $6. And then also got this first-party Xbox One controller for $6. On another wall of toy bags, I picked up these 2 Breyer Frolicking Foals for 90 cents each. Decided to take a chance on this $5 bag of Transformers and a Godzilla because I really wanted the Godzilla regardless. I was only interested in this bag for the Transforming Prince doll for $3.50. Then I went back to the toys and found a bunch of stuff, but got so annoyed with how closely everyone was shopping to me that I didn't film, and I ended up finishing quickly so I could leave. I had to get out of there because I gotta get to the Rite Aid to pick up what I came here for, and then go pick my kids up from school. So I had to play the game of intuition, just throw the stuff in the cart and hope that it's worth more than what I paid for it, because literally I couldn't record everything that I was picking up. There were way too many people in the toy section. Somebody was up my butt the entire time, and it was so annoying. And that's not even the worst part. We'll get there. And then this bag I grabbed for $5 because it has this vintage pony in it. I don't normally come across the vintage My Little Ponies anymore. Again, didn't look it up, have no idea if it's worth anything, but we'll see. We'll see. And then as I was getting these $3, I'm assuming strawberry shortcake dolls, vintage, they were hanging on one of those things that I've shown you where the toys hang off of. And I had my phone out on Google Lens to try and identify who this one was. I was like, maybe it's Blueberry Muffin. I really don't know, because I wanted to comp it, even though $3 isn't that bad. And as I have my phone out, taking the picture for Google Lens, this woman comes out of nowhere and is like, oh, we got another reseller over here, because she's like shopping with her friend. She's over here taking pictures, and she does that sort of like look on her face like, oh, I'm just trying to be funny, don't worry. I hate when people do that. I hate when anyone tries to like loudly make a joke, even though it's like literally not a joke. they're those resellers that are loudly talking about reselling at the thrift. And I'm sorry, if you do this, stop. Like, I could overhear them by the stuffed animals. Oh, we gotta look for those squishmallows. The squishmallows sell for a lot. Stop talking about the things you're going to sell while you're at the thrift, like loudly. If you're like hollering to another person you're shopping with, oh, this thing sells, we gotta look for that thing that sells for a lot of money. Like, it's just not the move, okay? It's not the vibe. But anyway, I responded to her. I'm like, I'm just trying to identify what this is. Like, you can identify something without being a reseller. Like, it's weird that you'd assume that in the first place. So anyway, I was just completely irritated by that. Like, please do not loudly announce that somebody else might be doing reselling activity. If you want to be loud and talk about your own reselling activity, that's fine. But you don't point the finger at someone else and say, this person's a reseller. Like, where do you get off? It's not even a funny joke. Like, I could tell she was trying to be like funny, but like, it's not funny to me. Maybe I'm too serious. Maybe I'm the one who's wrong here, but like, to me, just don't do that. So anyway, yeah, I grabbed these mystery girls that I'm assuming are strawberry shortcake for $3. And I got them because they're actually like fully dressed and they have their shoes and everything. So I'm assuming that they're gonna be worth more than $3. We'll see. But anyway, we gotta get back to the Rite Aids. Actually, psych, I lied. I had to go get my kids from school. I had no time to get to this location before then. So I came after dinner. That's why it's so dark right now. It's just a pickup for 4 boxes, and then I'm gonna check their clearance, because this was the Rite Aid that I hit that had like the mother load of clearance, so we'll see if I hit on that again. After this though, I'm gonna have to get back to my computer and see what locations have 4 or more boxes, because I've found that most of the stores have like 1 to 3. Finding 4 is very uncommon. And I also checked on the listing that had a big liquidator on it. And there was also another liquidator. Like, instead of the first one selling out and going away, there was 2. So, it's mildly concerning. Well, last time I came, that was chock full of clearance, and now it's turning into some sort of dollar spot. Don't know how I feel about that. Actual clearance seems to be not great. I'll give it a quick once over and see if I find anything good. Everything is sort of like meh. These are $3.37. I can sell them for $10. It's not terrible, and the dates are good. But Amazon's on the listing. There's a lot of people on the listing. I don't know. I don't feel super excited about it. These I've sold many times before. For some reason, they're always super cheap, but they sell for like $20 or more. And the date's good, so I will grab these. There's some other medications, which again are like super meh. Like, nothing that's very exciting to get. Don't worry, I'm flat. Don't worry, I am too. Got my 4 Geritol. The dates seem pretty okay. And then my soy lecithin didn't ring up properly. I had to like point out that it was on clearance, and she marked it down properly. And then I had a $2 off coupon, so it was only 24 cents. So that's essentially $17 in free money. Can't really argue with that. Wednesday morning is also part of my creature of habit stuff. I go grocery shopping and stop at a Goodwill across the street. Unfortunately today, I leave with absolutely nothing. That afternoon, I stop at Granger Supply and pick up my boxes. If you want me to make a video all about my favorite box supplier, let me know. While out there, I also stop at my favorite tea spot in a Goodwill. I got this HP toner for $10, and because this video is truly a mess, I accidentally listed it for $10 and it sold before I caught it. In this case, I was not about to eat the error, so I canceled it and relisted it for $40 and it sold again. That's a warning not to list when you're sleepy. My cats love a chonky cat toy, so I grabbed this corn kicker for them. Not much health and beauty to be had until I got to the checkout counter and I saw a few perfumes I wanted to buy in their case. The Baron cologne, it was $5, but I guess blue is the half off color, so I got it for $2.50. It appears to be full in the box. It's worth about $30. Wrong. This is why it's important to really know how to comp perfume. Size and age matter. While mine is the same size as the $30 bottles, it's actually vintage. I found a similar bottle that sold for $160, so I'm gonna ask $200 as the only one listed. I also grabbed this Vivian Woodard perfume, cologne, whatever, that was also $5 but half off for $250. I can't find this exact one. I can't really find many Vivian Woodard colognes. But when I looked up the brand on eBay, some of the sold comps were kind of high. So for $250, I figure we'll take a chance on it and see what it ends up being worth. So all in all, not a bad little stop for just waiting for my tea to be done. Grabbed my tea, and that was all for Wednesday sourcing. Checked on the Geritol situation and found that Amazon was staying in stock, although they were shipping about a month out. Thursday morning, I decided to look for stores to start placing orders for 2-packs since I could not find any more 4-packs. And then I could spend Thursday afternoon picking them up. Until I got a text Thursday morning that my husband's work truck stranded him and I'd have to come pick him up. Because, of course, nothing this week can go as planned. But I had to keep my eyes on the prize and ask the important questions. So I abandoned any plans I had for Thursday afternoon and headed to pick my husband up from where he was towed. But thankfully we did have time to stop at the Goodwill just down the street. This poorly constructed drain struggling to do its job. Bath & Body Works foot scrub for $250, I'll ask $20. Haven't seen one of these Alba Fast Fix in 3 years. There are none listed and none sold, but Terapeak shows that it last sold for around $35. Oh no, my nose is missing, Heather. I don't know why I always find these attachment bags. If they're cheap and have all the attachments, I grab them every time. One of them only has the hose in it, so I'm gonna leave that one behind. I'll list this one for $50. Oh, how could I leave this treasure behind? I really appreciate it when they put all the dolls together like this. Unfortunately, none of them are worth it for me. And I'll only buy fairies when they have their wings. This could be us, but we're not pigs.
Yeah, that could... What is it doing?
It's making bacon.
Yeah.
Look at Luna's dead eyes.
I'm pretty sure that is us.
And that was all I found at this thrift. I did come home and use the rest of my afternoon to make an Instagram post. Thursday evening I started listing my thrift finds, which meant taking the pigs out of their box. I think the pupil size really matters because in this one her pupils are kind of big and her mouth is sort of upturned and she's like happy about what's happening. He looks exactly like he does on the box, but she looks concerned. She doesn't look like she's enjoying it as much. Ori enjoyed his corn toy, but it turns out somebody else did too. So it's Friday and I didn't really go anywhere today. I spent the time with my son who's not at school on Fridays, and I've just been leisurely sitting at my computer making pickup orders at Rite Aid. I hoped that I could find another location with 4 bottles because that's the grail. You get the best deal when you can find 4 because you can stack that 25% off a purchase of $30 or more with the buy one get one free, but I could not find a single other location with 4 bottles. I only found 2 that had 3, and very few that also had 2. Most of them had 1 or none. So I placed orders for stores that are semi-close by that have at least 2 bottles. But when you do the sale, if you find 3, the math works out that buy one get one free plus the extra one plus the 25% off equals just finding the buy one get one free without the sale. So 3 and 2 are equal. 1 is bad, 4 is great. So I've been placing orders for the 2s and I can basically pick them up at my leisure. Amazon is still on the listing, but they're showing 1 to 2 months out. Rite Aid is currently out of stock. They were in stock for a few days without any disruptions and then they finally sold out. So there's going to be a tsunami of sellers coming to the listing in the coming days. So I'm just going to be happy if I sell a few more. Saturday morning, right before I set out to pick up my Geritol orders, I got an order for 4 bottles of Ollie Laser Focus. I forgot I had these cross-posted to eBay, and unfortunately I sold out on Amazon the night before. meaning I'd now have to scrounge for 4 more bottles to make this order, and none of the locations I was heading to had any. Thankfully, my 2 closest locations were showing some in stock. I could place orders and pick them up later, since my husband had to go to one of the towns anyway. But because one setback isn't enough, for some reason the 25% off coupon completely stopped working. I tried with different items in different quantities, different locations, and I could not get it to go through even though it was still visible on the product pages. That seems about right for this week, doesn't it? I shoved off to collect the online orders I placed on Friday. 3 locations with 2 bottles of Geritol each. The weather was perfect and it was a fun way to spend my morning. Clearance wasn't really hitting though, a lot of medications with date issues. Just goes to show you that Rite Aid clearance is not consistently good. That evening I went with my husband to the town he needed to visit so I could pick up 2 bottles of Ollie. But little did we know the Rite Aid closed at 6. I know I could have checked, but none of the other Rite Aids I go to close at 6 on a Saturday, so I didn't assume this one would. I'll have to come back tomorrow. I wasn't expecting to go anywhere on Sunday, but what's the theme of this video? Plans change. Luckily this town also has a liquidator, so we stopped there. Liquidators require plenty of patience to dig through shelves of mostly no-name Amazon crap and expired stuff to sometimes find a hidden gem. Case in point, these Vitapaks sell really well when I find them on Rite Aid clearance. Unfortunately, they're expired, so I'm not touching it. I did manage to find 1 single bottle of Inner Sense conditioner for $7.50 that I can sell for $30. And the Cosmos finally took pity on me and sent me a score. I had just run out of Rolo labels and my Amazon shipment got delayed because of course, but I found a box here for just $10. Sunday morning, I went back to the closed location and got my 2 Ollie. There was nobody on the listing for these 2 brown cocoa oils, so I asked $35. The green and the gray were selling for retail prices though, and not worth it. Left and came back out later to grab the other 2 Ollie from my closest location, and could finally end this crazy week. That is until I went to package the Ollie Sunday night and noticed I was given 2 that were dated for this month. Deciding that I was done running around, I messaged the customer to see if she would accept the 2 February bottles, and she would not. But because she asked to cancel, technically it would not count against me. All that work Sunday for absolutely nothing. Hooray! And that is where my week finally came to an end. Overall, I picked up a total of 14 boxes. 4 on Monday, 4 on Tuesday, 0 Wednesday through Friday, and 6 on Saturday. Far from the large haul I imagined for this video, but I played it safe, wasn't left with any unsellable inventory, and the price continued to fall, just not to the completely unprofitable levels I was afraid of. But hindsight is 20/20. As for my thrift finds, if I sell everything for full asking price, that's $780 in gross sales. This was not a very big week for me, but that's worth showing too. It's not always going to be 1K a day. The realities of being a full-time reseller are that you have to take the big weeks with the small, especially if you balance thrift reselling with Amazon, only source a couple hours a day, and are generally risk-averse. Sometimes the reality of reselling is, it's a mess. But I wouldn't have it any other way. Just finished returning those 2 bottles of Laser Focus that I can't really sell and it's not profitable to try anyway. I'm so glad that week is over. It was not how I wanted it to go. Even with the setbacks, I still did okay. I can't really complain. Sometimes your weeks go exactly how you plan them to, just like the Crunch Cup video. That was just chef's kiss. It was such a perfect journey. This one, not so much. In retrospect, there's so much I would have done differently. I would have placed an online order, not for pickup, but for sending to my house when it was in stock on Rite Aid, because even without the 25% off that would have come buying it in store, I still would have been profitable. I needed to just tune out all of the other things going on, like, oh, it's in stock now, it's going to be in stock forever. It wasn't. Amazon's going to be on the listing forever. They weren't, but I'm a very cautious reseller. I don't like to get a whole lot of product if I'm afraid that I'm not going to be able to sell it all for a profit in time. So playing it by ear cost me money, but like, what if I was recording this today and Amazon and all the other big accounts were on the listing and everyone else had tanked the price and I was left with a whole bunch, like an order that hadn't even arrived yet of bottles that I wouldn't be able to sell when it arrived. It could have gone either way. Sure, I only found 1 location that had 4 bottles to make it the absolute best price, But it was worth my time to sift through all the locations I could online to see if I could find another one. I would have sat down earlier in the week to do that as well instead of waiting until Friday, and I'm still happy that I made some profit this week. Just not the way I planned. My next video is going to be my 2022 profit breakdown. If you haven't seen 2021, I highly recommend it. I'm not going to go as in-depth because all the information's kind of in 2021, so we're going to do more of a comparison. I know I said I wasn't going to do a 2022, but I did have a lot of people on Instagram message me and express interest in me making one so they would have 2 years to compare. And I said, all right, did my sales go up? Did my sales go down? I guess you'll have to tune in and see. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you're not already subscribed, please consider doing so because I only put out about 1 video a month, and subscribing is the best way to see my videos pop up in your feed. If you want shorter bite-sized pieces of my content, follow me on Instagram or TikTok. If you're still here after all this chaotic mess, or you found something helpful in this video through it all, leave me a like so I know. Now get out there, have fun, even if your week doesn't go as you planned, and find something good.